Hey guys, let's talk about tonight's episode of Scandal and this show. I just have to go right to the ending. First, Cyrus off the top was nuts. He was nuttier than a freaking O. Henry bar. I don't know what is going on with that man, with his pajamas and his obsession with everything that was going on with Olivia and them basically just trying to still continue to rip her a shred and humiliate her and just say that she was a gold digger, a mistress, a this, a that. And oh my goodness. But that ending with Cyrus and Fitz was amazing. Okay. Cyrus, oh, that actor is so good. And I hope he gets nominated because he is brilliant whenever he just does all of his dialogue and his lines are just so good. And when he was retelling all the moments that he can remember, which is basically everything regarding the president and anything that he did leading up to his presidency, that he could recall any moment, and him basically saying, I know what you are to me, but what am I to you? And he says, you don't even know my mother's name. And then Fitz goes and this whole telling of like this book that his mom used to give him. And basically it was the bromance coming back together again and him saying, I know you just as much as you know me, maybe not as detailed in everything, but the two of us, he's basically like, I can't get through this without you. And he will do whatever it takes in order for him to come back to the White House. Obviously, this is so that he can protect Fitz and not let him know that Fitz saw the video of Olivia when she was kidnapped in Angola or West Angola. And that scene was so good. It was, oh my God. And then Cyrus being like, yeah, Lizzie's got to go. I want this. I want that. You're signing this. It's unrevocable, blah, blah, blah. And he was just like, he went from nuttier than a nut house at the beginning of the episode to like this man who was basically in charge of that whole final scene. Because he was pretty much like, deuces, I don't need you. And then Fitz was able to turn around. And this is honestly the most presidential I've seen Fitz in a long time. Because a lot of times I'm like, he's just useless as a president. But oh my goodness. And then of course they were playing It's a New Dawn, It's a New Day in the background and they're shaking hands. I was like, wow, that scene was awesome. So we also had some other really good scenes in this episode when Olivia went to see her ex, and he basically threw down the gauntlet on her. He threw down the lines because she once called him, what was it, a liar, a whore, I can't remember the four things that he said, an idiot and something else. And he basically, because back in the day we all remember that Olivia accused him of all those things when he was trying to say, are you hooking up with the president? She was like, what? Like, that is just ridiculous. And of course he threw it back at her, which I thought was brilliant. And then he then went on national TV to defend Olivia, which was great. It was like Olivia was just hanging out with all of her exes, of course, and we know that Jake is, for me, he is her bestie, and I love that because they've been able to transition their relationship in this season as her best friend. Like, that's just basically what that is. If nobody else sees that, I just don't know how you don't. And even that, like at the end, well, she goes to his house and she meets his wife and doesn't know that it's his wife at the time. And I love how she just kisses him in front of Olivia, and Olivia's all like, and then she gives Jake the look, and Jake's like, what? And of course, she goes to him for some advice because she trusts him. And he tells her, this is what you need to do. You need to go on national television. You need to sell that this is like a love story because it's the only way you're going to get out of being looked at as this homewrecker, this wife stealing, blah, blah, blah. And this is what you need to do. And he's like, unless this is about you and the fact that once you do this, it means that you are in it. Like, you cannot escape this now. You are basically the other woman to the president, like in terms of this is your life. Not that everyone knows that she's the other woman, but that you cannot get out of this now. You're in it to win it. And she's all like, yeah, maybe that is what I'm afraid of. So I like that, he's giving her the honest truth and she's got to really look at that and see, is that what she's most terrified of? And then when she does the interview and he asks her, like, are you in love with the president or do you regret meeting the president? She's all like, yeah, I regret meeting him. I wish I never laid eyes on him. And then she goes into this great explanation of, all these people's friends and family and coworkers, their lives would not be turned upside down because I looked at the president. If I could have stopped, I tried. I regret wearing the ring in front of him. I regret that his kids have to know about this. Like, she was just like, I've tried several times to stop loving this man and all this stuff. And it was just like, a very passionate, powerful interview that she gave. And it just sort of brought her back down to that human element, which is, she didn't mean to do this. Like, and we all know that she didn't mean to fall in love with this man. She just did. And he fell in love with her. And like she said, if we did, then there'd just be two lonely people out there, which I thought was hilarious because it's like, well, he was still married. But yes, he was lonely. But that was a great scene too. I mean, there were just a lot of really good stuff in this episode. We had, Huck and Quinn and the new hire all at OPA trying to figure out how to do damage control and help Olivia out. And ultimately, they found out that the Senate committee found the CIA information, which led them to the West Angola, which led Olivia to make some hot, passionate love with Fitz, or start to, and play some sexual healing. The timing and the music in these shows are just hilarious. And so she tells him that, they know about the CIA, like the West Angola. And of course, this is when he goes to try to get Cyrus back. And I thought it was also really cute that Melly went to Cyrus, and she doesn't really have anybody else that she can go to, and they're just these two lonely sad sacks sitting on the couch watching all this play out. And she's the one who gave the Senate committee the information about the ring that was Fitz's great grandmother's and everything. So, she threw down a gauntlet, and then they just basically kicked her off the committee. So she was stuck there kind of going, well, what am I supposed to do now? So her and Cyrus were just having like a cute little pity party on the couch, which I thought was super cute. But everything else out, and they brought back Abby's boyfriend, to sort of help manage the crisis. And he wasn't really in the episode for that long, but he was hilarious nonetheless for the scenes that he was in. So yeah, I mean, I like that the show is just going full on out. Look, they've committed to this. The secret's out. Even off the top of the episode, you see the president and Olivia like still walking arm in arm, like going out, eating in places. So, they're just going full throttle with this. And, the Senate's trying to impeach him, give it on an impeachable crime, which nobody knows what that could be. It could be anything that they decide is relevant at this current moment. So, obviously the president has to be very careful. And this whole thing with West Angola is huge. So now is Cyrus back in the fold? Oh, I just cannot wait to see what is going to happen next and where this is going to take the show. And another one thing I wanted to point out was when Jake's ex or wife left the apartment, you could see her face was all like, and she made some like face when she walked out after leaving Olivia and him in the office. I don't trust that woman at all. And I just know it. She's bad news. So when Olivia goes to, Jake comes back to OPA and he's like, oh, that was a great interview. And he's got takeout for her. And she's all like, so your friend, like, who is she? And he's like, oh, my wife. And she's like, say what now? I didn't know you had a wife. And, so like they kind of kid around, whatever. And then she said, he goes, I'd like you to meet her or something. And he says, oh, she's like, Olivia reminds him of her as the ex, right? So she's like, oh, what, are we similar? And she goes, oh, so you have a type. And then he goes, you have a type too. And then she's like, I do not. He's like, yes, married men, which I thought was hilarious. So it was just another cute moment between the two of them where obviously it's showing their friendship. And then as they're eating, she goes, oh, did you get, and he tosses like some sauce across the table. I'm like, these two, they are too cute right now. And I always was like, I can't take the triangle. I just don't want Jake and her together. But this I can take. I can take this dynamic, and I'm fully fine with it. So yeah, it looks like Lizzie Bear's out the door because Cyrus is back as chief of staff. They're going to keep Abby on, and we'll see what's going to happen with everybody else. I mean, OPA hasn't really been up to too much. We didn't get any Papa Pope in this episode, and we didn't really get any other hints at any other side storylines. It was just all on Olivia and her doing this interview in this episode. All right, guys, that is it for me. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Are you enjoying this scandalous affair being revealed? It's about time, right? We're in season 5? 4? What are we in? And, the fact that this has been since day one and we knew that the secret was going to come out eventually, do you think that they're handling it well? I kind of do. I think that I like that they're doing what the typical thing is to do and rake her over the coals because that's what happens. I like that they shouted out Monica Lewinsky in this episode. I like that they even shouted out Carrie Holmes in this episode when he goes, I don't need you to jump on the couch. I was like, oh my God, the references are just killing me here. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think that the show is doing a service by just really going at it, not trying to hold anything back. And, we'll see what happens next. That's it for me, guys. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you next week.